Hi, everyone. Welcome to my social emotional lesson number 3. I thought I'd recap a little bit. So, week 1, we talked about a growth mindset and how challenges arise and how to overcome those using a growth mindset. And then last week, we talked about things inside and outside of our control, the circle of control worksheet that you guys did, and then really letting go of the things outside of our control and putting all our time and energy into the things that we can control. And this week, we're going to focus on emotions and where emotions stem from within our brain. So, there are 2 main parts of your brain that trigger emotions. The first is called your prefrontal cortex, and the second is called the amygdala. Big words. So, the prefrontal cortex is located just on the other side of your forehead. So right up in here. It's the front part of your brain. It's also known as the thinking part of your brain. This is the part of your brain that helps us understand cause and effect. It helps you plan ahead. It actually helps you understand social cues, being able to read facial expressions or empathy. So those are the things that take place in the prefrontal cortex. The second is the amygdala. And this is the part of our brain where those emotions are actually located. And this part of your brain is super, super, super tiny. And it's on the side of your head right here. And it shoots off those big emotions that we have. They could be good emotions, they could be bad emotions. So that is what happens here. And it's really small on the side of your head, in the middle part of your brain. So these 2 parts of your brain are responsible for controlling those big emotions. So when we're stressed out, you might have felt really overwhelmed. You might have experienced scary feelings. And this is when your amygdala is actually taking over and has more control and more power over your prefrontal cortex. So, why is your amygdala important? Why do we need to know about it? So, you could think of this amygdala as a guard dog. You could say that sometimes it feels good to have a guard dog to protect you. So, this is the part of your brain that's actually telling us to have a fight or flight. And that stems way back to early humans and how they responded to things. So say they're living in, a shelter and a big animal comes in, they have that choice in the amygdala. This is where those decisions happen. They can fight the animal to protect themselves, or they have that option to run to protect themselves, to flee, to get away. So this is the part of our brain that's trying to protect us in those feelings. So similar to that guard dog who tries to protect us, sometimes it can be a false alarm. And you might know what I'm talking about. You might respond to a situation in a really, really, really big way, but it was such a small, tiny, tiny problem. But the way you handled it was a big reaction. That's what's happening in the amygdala. So when that guard dog within the amygdala, when it has that big reaction, this is what we call flipping the lid. Now, the prefrontal cortex works to mitigate times when we're in that motion of, or that thought of flipping our lid. When we have those big reactions to those small problems. And sometimes it doesn't feel good for us and it doesn't feel the best possible or healthy for us. So the more that we can be aware of these things that allow us to flip our lid, and we can use our prefrontal cortex to control it. So we want to know when that guard dog is going to come out, and we want to know how we're going to respond to it. So join us on Wednesday because we're going to talk a lot more about this. But to be ready for our Wednesday meeting, I would ask you to think about some things that kind of trigger an emotion for you. So it could be something that you're currently experiencing. It could be something that it's been a consistent flipping of the lid for you, something that is really triggering a big emotion for you. We're going to talk more about it. So we'll see you on Wednesday. Bye.